Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Jules Ohm from the Fortnite Victory Royale series from Hasbro. So I believe this is an Amazon exclusive, and that would explain why we have windowless packaging here. Yes, they are trying to minimize the amount of plastic, but it makes sense to do windowless packaging for Amazon exclusives because you're not going to be able to see it ahead of time anyway. But you get some really nice artwork here on the front of the box, and you get a little list of the accessories over here on the side. And then you can see the picture just kind of coming around to the other side of the box there as well. Really nice, impressive wingspan for Ohm. Spinning around to the back, we can see a picture of the figure and Ohm here with the full wings out, perched on top of the harvesting tool. It also shows the harvesting tool again over here as one of the accessories. I don't know why it shows it twice. You also get a welding mask, you get two smaller wrenches, and then you get a back bling that has Ohm perched on there with his wings kind of folded to the side. So pretty cool, really nice accessories here. I'm going to go ahead and get everything out of the box, and we're going to take a closer look. So here's everything we get in the box. We have a lot of accessories. We have two different versions of Ohm, but let's go ahead and start with Jules. They did a nice job. I think the figure looks good. The head is really nicely molded and detailed. The paint is very nice. The hair looks good. You got the goggles molded in there. You got the two braids. You got all of her crazy tattoos. All really nicely detailed. The only thing I'm not too crazy about is the whole torso is kind of made of this soft rubbery plastic. And I'm just worried that that's going to break down over time. And if it does, that's like her whole torso. It's not just a piece of plastic over the torso. It's a good chunk of the torso is made out of this weird soft rubber. So if that ever breaks down and kind of falls off, the figure's going to look really awkward. So hopefully that doesn't happen over time. Because it looks good as it is now. Although I have heard the decal painted there on the front, does not really adhere to the plastic that well. So it's very easy to smudge. So just be careful if you're handling the figure. But you have some nice detail here on the gloves. The tool belt, I think, is really, really nicely done. Really nicely detailed and painted. And that's kind of a little bit softer, more malleable plastic. You can see how you can kind of push it up if you want to. So you can kind of, if you need to move the hips, so that way it doesn't impede the articulation. But that's really nicely detailed. The kneecaps down here, you can see you've got some dirt or motor oil or some kind of splatter here on the bottom of the jeans, which looks pretty cool. And then you got the boots. So all in all, it's a really good looking figure. Articulation-wise, I believe the head's just on a ball joint. Not really a ton of up and down movement, but you can certainly look side to side, move all around there. You have a hinge and a swivel here in the shoulders. You have a hinge and a swivel in the elbow. You have a hinge and a swivel in the wrist. So this has a horizontal swivel, which is not really cooperating right now. There we go. The waist kind of has like a ball joint in there, and I went ahead and did exactly what I told myself not to do. You got to be careful with that decal there on the chest, but you can move that all around there. I don't know if she has a waist articulation spot. No, nothing. I don't think there's anything there in the waist. It's kind of hard to get to, but you definitely have something in the abdomen. The hip can kick forward again if you want to raise that up so you can get to that. You can kick out to the side. Can't really kick back all that far because she does kind of have a butt flap there. You have thigh swivel. Really nice double jointed knees. So really nice articulation there. You have a swivel at the boot. And then you have a hinge and swivel right below that. Now it's a little difficult because while I'm trying to move this hinge, it's naturally wanting to kind of pull the boot away from the leg. So you got to be really careful with that. And make sure you're applying pressure in the right spot. Because I feel like it would be very easy to just kind of pry this whole boot right off the leg. And you do not want to do that. You also have a rocker in the ankle as well. So a lot of nice articulation there. Like I said, I think the figure looks really cool. I'm just worried about that torso being the softer rubbery plastic. I'm hoping over time that does not break down. But overall, really nice figure. I think they did a good job aesthetically. Articulation looks good. Very cool. So let's go ahead, we'll move on to some of these accessories now. So we'll get some of the little bit less interesting ones out of the way. You have these two smaller wrenches. So she actually has the larger wrench in the back, which we'll get to in a minute, that you can use as a harvesting tool. Or you can have these kind of dual-wielded smaller wrenches as a harvesting tool. And they're nice. I mean, they have some really nice paint applications, really nice detail. Got that tape around the bottom here. A little bit of silver and orange here. Have a nice shine to them. So these are nice. And they fit into her hands fairly easily. You can just kind of go ahead and pop these right in here. There you go. She also has the welder's mask. And it looks like it's a little, I don't know if it's just a little distorted or it kind of almost looks like it was cut a little weird there at the bottom, but for the most part it looks good. And this just drops right over. No issue there. And even if you want to kind of pop this back so it kind of looks like she's wearing it but it kind of flipped up, that is possible. It just kind of clips onto the back of her head there. So you can achieve that look too, which I think is pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and take these and move them off to the side. So we can take a look at Ohm. Now, I just have him perched on top of here right now, but that's not really what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to, you kind of have to get the tail feathers to fit back there. But then he perches onto this little section right here. And then this is back bling. So you can go ahead and peg this in. You kind of have to make sure that the shirt lines up because there is a hole in the shirt as well as the back. So just make sure that lines up. So you can go ahead and peg this in. And now she can have him on her back bling. But you can take him off. And he does have a little bit of articulation. Now I think she's going to get a little extra back heavy now with the back bling. So hopefully she'll stay standing for us. But yeah, Ohm looks pretty cool. He's got minor paint applications, but still looks good. Head can swivel from side to side. You actually have a hinge here in the wing. So you have a basic hinge here as well as a rotation. So if you want to kind of put the wings out to the side. And there she goes. I knew she'd fall over with the back bling. But yeah, he looks pretty cool. I mean, like I said, very minor articulation, but I think it works. We will pop this back in. And then I will bring her back so you can pop him back in here for the back bling. And there we go. Now I think it's kind of interesting. He's got the splayed out tail here. And then on this one, he's got kind of a more condensed tail. And on the packaging, they show them reversed. They show the one that fits into the back bling having the more condensed tail, which kind of makes sense because you have to fit it inside this loop. But then the final toy doesn't have it that way. So interesting. Not really sure why that is. I think it would make more sense to be the way it was done on the packaging, but it is what it is. So let's see if she can stand up for us with the back bling. She's probably going to want to fall over again. So let's move on to this one real quick while we can. So here we have, I'm just going to lean her back up here so she doesn't fall over. So here we have Ohm on top of the harvesting tool, which I'm told is also how she uses her glider. So this is actually kind of a 2-in-1 with the wings all the way out here. This is her glider, and then you can take this section off and use it as her harvesting tool. So how this works, this little piece right here just pops out, and then you get a normal one that you can go ahead and pop in here. And now this is her harvesting tool. This section here can rotate around depending on how you want her to hold it. But again, really nice paint applications. You have that tape all the way on the handle. And I think this is kind of cool. At first, I was really kind of bummed that this doesn't really lock into place. But it really doesn't fall out. Like, this is not going to just fall out. You really have to kind of pull it to get this out. It kind of fits into the channel and then kind of locks into place. But not in place, but it locks in from falling out. But this is kind of nice because that way, if you actually wanted to try to grasp onto something, you could, like another character or some other item, and then push that down to kind of actually grab onto it. So you have a little bit of functionality there, which is kind of cool. So it's a really nice harvesting tool. I think it looks pretty good. She can hold it fairly well. Again, it's pretty thin, so you can just kind of pop it into her hand. No problem. There you go. And we could have her dual wield it, or use two hands to hold it, I should say. Not really dual wield, but let's go ahead. Come on, you. I know you can do it. The thumb is giving me some trouble. There we go. So she can hold it with two hands there, which is how they usually swing the pickaxes in the game. But going back to the glider, so we'll take this part out and we'll bring this section in. Now here, Ohm is molded onto this piece. You cannot remove him. And he comes with these two larger wing pieces which came separately in the box. You just plug them in and then you get a hinge here and also a rotation. But it's pretty tight. So if you're going to rotate it, I wouldn't hold it here to rotate it. I would hold it very close to the body. That way you're not going to break anything. And you can kind of see on mine, the one hinge looks really nice. And then this one looks kind of rough. And I'm sure that's just a QC issue. It's not that big a deal because it still functions. And again, not really anything I can do because I certainly couldn't see it beforehand because I got it from Amazon, but I do think that the wings work really well. They're really big, kind of a nice shiny plastic. So I think that's pretty cool. You also have very limited head movement as well. So pretty much all the same articulation as the smaller version of Ohm, just with much larger wings so he can be used as a glider. And then you would just drop this in again, and then she would just hold on to it as a glider. The other thing that's kind of cool, it comes with this plastic piece that if you lift up the tail back here, there's a tiny little connector spot. Right, my thumb, of course, is hiding the light, but there you go. You can see it. So you take this piece and you just kind of put this under the tail, and then that's going to peg in like so. And then I'm assuming this is going to connect to one of the glider stands that they're going to sell us later on. It also comes with this little piece, which I guess is going to connect on in some way. I don't know if it connects to this, if it's connecting to the stand, and I don't know. But you get these two clear pieces. I'm really not sure what this is for. But I know that this pegs in the back here, this tiny little hidden peg hole. So that's pretty cool. It's a glider, it's a harvesting tool, all in one, and I think that's pretty neat. So I think this is a really great set. There's a lot going on. We'll start with Jules first. She looks good. I think they did a nice job. The face sculpt is really nice. All the articulation is really good. All the molding and detail is really sharp. You know, you got the goggles and the braids and everything. All the paint applications with all her crazy tattoos. Also, the molding, detail, and paint application on the tool belt are all really sharp, and that all looks really good. So overall, it's a good-looking figure. The only thing I'm a little worried about is that soft, rubbery plastic used for the torso. I think it looks fine aesthetically. I'm just worried how it's going to hold up over time, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But as of right now, it's a really sharp-looking figure. I really like the back bling. It makes her a little back-heavy, so it's kind of hard to get her to stand up, but having her hold the harvesting tool here kind of counterbalances everything, which works. But yeah, you have the little version of Ohm there on her back. I'm really glad that he does have a little bit of articulation. It is limited, but he can move his wings and his head, which I think is really all you need, and I think he looks pretty cool. Getting him in and out of the back bling is a little difficult because his tail feathers are kind of splayed out, but it does work and it can be done, and I think it just looks really good. He really perches onto that back bling and really holds his stance, which I think is good, so he really connects on there pretty solidly. The other version of Ohm with the wings all the way splayed out looks really good as well, and I'm glad he also has the articulation. Switching it in and out of the larger wrench harvesting tool really works, so it can double from harvesting tool to glider. I think that really works and really looks cool. Some of the other accessories are okay. She has kind of the smaller wrench accessories and the blast shield, which are just kind of fun to include. That way you can kind of customize her look a little bit, or if you want to use the figure for something besides just kind of reenacting Fortnite battle scenes, if you want to kind of make a scene of her building Ohm or doing maintenance on Ohm or something like that, I think that's kind of fun. And just kind of a weird Easter egg, probably most of you already know this, but Joules and Ohms are both units of measurement in physics. So that's kind of like a fun play on the names there. So just wanted to throw that out there. But overall, I think it's a really nice set. It does also come with that little piece here to connect for the inevitable glider stands that they're going to be selling us. So we'll have to see how that works out later on when I eventually get one of those. But everything included in this box is cool. It works. I think it all really, really works. Like I said, I have a few reservations about a few small aspects, but for the most part, it's a really great set. I'm really happy I picked it up. Now this, I believe, is an Amazon exclusive, and I believe it's $40 or $42 somewhere in there. They recently had like a Black Friday sale, and I was able to pick it up for around $25, $26, and I feel like for that price, I got a really good deal. It's a standard 6-inch figure from Hasbro, so you figure it's going to be around $20 to begin with, and then you throw all the accessories and extra pieces on top of that. I feel like $40 is kind of asking a bit much, but if you could get it on sale somewhere in the, $25 to $35 range, I feel like that's definitely worth it. So I think it's a really fun release. If you've been collecting the Fortnite Victory Royale series, I think this is definitely one you're going to want to add to your collection. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.